So right now, the city of St. Louis is suing the Rams and the NFL for relocation issues. The city has presented evidence that they believe that the Rams and the NFL fraudulently moved and relocated the team from St. Louis to Los Angeles, and some evidence is coming out now that the judge is kind of like, yeah, So let's go ahead and talk about it. I took some notes here, so I am going to be reading a little bit because it's all kind of like legal jargon, and I want to make sure that it all makes sense to everybody involved. So the city of St. Louis gets a pretty big win against the Rams in the NFL. Judges decided that that there is clear and convincing proof that supports the findings that the NFL and the Rams operated in a fraudulent manner, and that is directly related to relocating the Rams from St. Louis to Los Angeles. So Goodell and 5 team owners, and that is Stan Kroenke, Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys, Robert Kraft of the New England Patriots, and John Mara of the New York Giants, and Jerry Richardson of the Carolina Panthers. They're all now required to open their books and provide information on their financial worth. Worth specifically is how this was reported by Mike Florio, who, in fairness, is very anti-Rams. So everything that he writes about the Rams or speaks on about the Rams, you do kind of got to take into consideration that he is a little bit biased against the Rams. So there is like the wording, and sometimes will be a little bit more aggressive when he's talking about the Rams in a negative light. So keep that in mind while I'm going over this. This information is from Florio in his article from Pro Football Talk. But this alone means that what this means specifically is because it's the worth, not necessarily what they made in a specific situation. It's their worth, and the only reason that would be relevant is because the payout that the NFL and these teams like the Rams and Kroenke would need to pay to the city of St. Louis is directly proportionate to how much money they have. It's interesting, like sliding scale, that the more you have, the more that you need to pay now because you didn't need to do all that kind of thing. It's a weird way that the court system works with that. The less money you have, the less you pay. The more money you have, the more you have to pay. Stan Kroenke, of course, has quite a bit of money. So that would, of course, be to determine what the city of St. Louis would be awarded if this case does, of course, go in their favor. How this impacts Kroenke is a little bit messy. He, of course, has other teams, Arsenal. His son technically owns the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche out here in Colorado. His wife, of course, with all of her, Walmart money. I don't know how any of that specifically ties in to what Kroenke would be, I guess, what value would be added to Kroenke himself. Is it only what he's made from the Rams? Is it only what he's got under his name? So Avalanche and Nuggets are out of it. Arsenal's out of it. Like, what is it? That would get a little bit messy. I wouldn't anticipate we get an answer on that one. If at all, we wouldn't get that answer soon because, of course, this is going to go to like a full-blown trial. We're looking at jury and stuff like that. So it's going to be a thing for sure. But I don't know how that information would impact what Kroenke would be, I guess, valued at. What is his value in that sense, with his son and his wife owning different sources of revenue. There's also a phone call that will be provided as evidence from 2013 with Stan Kroenke, Roger Goodell, we got John Mara, and Art Rooney of the Steelers, that has Stan mentioning that he is buying 2 parcels of land in Los Angeles and he's building a stadium there. This was 2013. He did mention that he would like to keep it under the radar, in which Goodell replied that they will respect Stan's confidentiality. It was then reported by Florio that Kevin Demoff reportedly gave Roger Goodell talking points before his pre-Super Bowl press conference in 2014, in which Roger Goodell responded to some questions, mentioning that Stan Kroenke, the Rams owner, participates in different real estate ventures and's got land developments all over the country. And that he wanted to make sure that the league supports the Rams in their local market, which was St. Louis at the time, as their fans have, and said this is a direct quote from Roger Goodell in that press conference, was, "There are no plans to my knowledge of a stadium development." That was 2014. The phone call that I referenced was 2013. This could be some pretty harsh evidence leading to a win for the city of St. Louis. And it's just a little bit messy right now. And this evidence is this phone call, which I would, by the way, absolutely love to listen in on this phone call from 2013. I almost wish I could be on the jury here, but clearly me being a massive Rams fan, that would never be allowed. But I would love to hear that phone call and see what was being talked about. But 2013, Stan Kroenke is telling Roger Goodell that he's buying land in Los Angeles and plans to build a stadium. And then, of course, 2014, Goodell's out here saying that he has no knowledge of a stadium plan. And this is 2013, guys. Do you guys remember 2013? I took some notes here. This is like peak 7 to 9 BS. Peak 7 to 9 BS, all right? You know who the coach was? Of course, it was Jeff Fisher. You know who our offensive coordinator was? That's right, Shoddy. Remember hashtag fire Shoddy? Tim Walton was our defensive coordinator at this time. Just to give you guys a little bit of an idea, Sam Bradford, he was a starter for 7 games, of course got injured. Kellen Clemens started 9 games. Zach Stacy was a rookie and led the team in rushing yards. Jared Cook was our top receiver. That's in targets, catches, yards, and touchdowns. Ogletree and Laurinaitis were our starting linebackers. Tremaine Johnson and Janoris Jenkins were locking it down on the outside against the wideouts. Robert Quinn and Chris Long rushing the passer. This was the year that Stan Kroenke was telling Roger Goodell that he's buying land in Los Angeles and plans to build a stadium. That year, with those guys, Zach Stacy's rookie season, we had Jenks, we had Jackrabbit out there, and True. Sam Bradford was our quarterback still. That is absolutely bananas to me, guys. He told the commissioner that he wants to move back to LA in this year. That's absolutely wild, guys. And then here we are as Rams podcasts and stuff. This was pre-Rams Showcase, I think. Rams Showcase is 5 years old, so yeah, this is pre-Rams Showcase. The entire time, we had no idea. I was putting out articles like, we don't know what's going to happen. I was actually pretty confident the Rams were going to stay in St. Louis, honestly, because I didn't see in the rules where they were going to be able to break out. But it kind of made sense the way that the lease was working out with the Edward Jones Dome. I shared a Facebook post that I had from this time frame. I think it was like from 2015. Because, of course, the 16 season was the first year that the Rams were out in Los Angeles officially, Jared Goff's rookie season. But I remember like seeing this stuff, and it was like, hey, you know, the Rams can go year to year at the Edward Jones Dome. The city of St. Louis denied the $700 million renovation plans, so they can go year to year. They can break their lease after that. They're free to relocate. But it looks like all of this was done a little bit on purpose. That $700 million proposal very well could have been just an overblown, like, hey, let's just give them a ridiculous offer so that they say no and we can get out of our lease. That's a very real possibility as well. Either way, we got the Rams back in Los Angeles, and I like to think that it's going pretty well. The Rams kind of turned it around pretty quick, bringing in Sean McVay and, you know, appearing in a Super Bowl for Los Angeles, which is pretty awesome stuff. And you know, I'm not a city guy here. I'm a Rams fan. I don't care where they play. They can play on the moon. Go Moon Rams. I do not care one bit at all. I just really believe that the move to Los Angeles was a very big move for the Rams. It was difficult to get free agents to move to St. Louis when Jeff Fisher's your coach. Now it's Sean McVay, and we got sweet new uniforms, a beautiful stadium. We're in LA. I think it's just an easier situation to get people to want to come play for you. It's an exciting situation. We're a little bit more flashy now. We're not the NFL's little brother anymore. How I used to kind of feel like the Rams were the NFL's little brother in like the 2009 years. Like the Rams would win a game, and I'm sitting here in high school, and people would be like, "Hey man, hey, Rams won. Way to go, man. That's awesome." Like no one was scared of the Rams at all, but it was like when they did well, it's like, "Hey, good job, guys. Way to go. Like, you did it. You won a game." And that's not the case anymore. Now the Rams are like a legitimate threat. If you ask Vegas, second best odds in the NFC to win the Super Bowl. And that's just behind the Buccaneers, who are bringing back all 22 starters and just were there last year. So that's the city of St. Louis versus the NFL and the Rams. We'll be definitely keeping a close eye on this one. Anytime we get a big update like this, I like to talk about it. But that's where we're at right now. Rams fans, thank you guys so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. You guys are my favorite kind of people. Now, what I need you to do, if you have not already, on this side here, this is where you can subscribe. If you haven't, or even if you have, if you liked this clip, you'll probably like the entire podcast. So check it out over here. Peace! Go Rams!